Are you tired of being the guy who keeps getting ignored and seems to get no positive attention from anybody? You make eye contact with women and they feel creeped out. You act respectful to fellow men and they think you're being weird. You stay quiet and you make people feel uncomfortable. And you just don't know what to do. You want to be the charismatic man who just radiates charm through his skin. The man that women absolutely love being around, to the point where you gain attraction from many women, and ending up with a selection of women to choose from. And even looking past the women, men want to network with you, since you're interesting, funny, are such a good speaker and have many good things going for you. People literally love being around you, even if you don't do much. And that is exactly how good you would be to be around. But that scenario is not real. Isn't real just yet. The work to get to that point still needs to be done. And although there is a lot of work, there isn't much that you need to know. To become charismatic, you need to be powerful, warm, and present. And those things can be developed. It isn't something that you're only born with. Yes, some people are born with it and some are not. I know I wasn't and neither were you, but we can't sit here and complain about it. So instead we will develop that to the best of our abilities. I really struggled with speaking growing up, and this information that I'm going to share with you has really helped me come out of my comfort zone and allowed me to talk to people in a way that I've never been able to before. I severely lacked power when I was younger. I would doubt myself whenever anyone questioned me and would stay quiet so to not draw attention to myself. And I was a massive pushover for the majority of my life. And the more I kept getting pushed over and overpowered, the less power I felt. Of course I was nice when I was growing up, but I certainly didn't make people feel comfortable. Until very recently, I've always found it very awkward to compliment people, say nice things or make small talk, which are things that would have made me a warm person. But at least I can learn from that mistake now, and I can teach you how to learn from my mistake as well. And I would say the strongest charismatic trait for me when I was growing up was listening, since it's quite easy to listen when someone's talking, especially when you're socially awkward and don't want to say much anyway. But even though I did listen, I probably didn't show it very well, which made me seem like I was inattentive. But let me explain charisma in more detail before I explain to you how you can develop each trait, starting with power, which is quite understandable on its own. Power in terms of charisma is the type of thing that makes you aware of someone when they walk in a room, and you would pay attention when they speak and value their words. They are calm and collected, not overly excited or jittery, basically confidence. And then we need warmth, which is the type of thing that makes you feel welcome and cared for when with someone. They are nice and respectful, not sarcastic and rude, basically being nice. And lastly, to tie them all together, is presence, which is the type of thing that makes you feel listened to and a part of the conversation when with someone. They clearly show to you that they are listening and not just waiting for you to stop talking so they can speak. And that is basically active listening. Sure, it seems easier to just be powerful and present because being warm to people is too awkward. So because it's too hard, I won't do it. That is the biggest mistake that you can make when it comes to charisma, as it is vitally important to have all three of these traits to become charismatic. And even if you're just missing one of the three traits, it completely throws you off. Since if you only have power, it will make you seem powerful and important, but you will just as much be seen as cold and arrogant. If you only have warmth, it means that you will be seen as nice and friendly, but you will just as much be seen as a weak pushover who is seeking approval. And if you only have presence, it means that you will be seen as attentive and listening, but ultimately weird because you sit and listen without doing much. And so how do you develop each trait to build up your charisma? To develop your power, it is basically everything confidence. From inner confidence to outer objective confidence. So firstly, developing self-confidence means keeping your word to yourself. If you say that you will do something tomorrow, you will do it even if you don't feel like it anymore. And that will of course mean that it branches off into you keeping your word to others, which will make your words and promises hold a lot of weight. Secondly, developing what I call objective confidence. And there is a fantastic Alex Hormozy quote for this. You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Which basically means building up a muscular body, making a lot of money, dressing nice, looking good, becoming more intelligent, and believing in what you say. The kind of things that you can use against someone when they try to put you down. Someone could say that you're broke, but you know that you make this much per month. Someone could say you're ugly, but you know that your DMs are absolutely full with women asking you to take them out. Someone can call you fat. You know that you have 11% body fat. And I guess this is also partly inner confidence, because it would make you sure of who you are no matter what anybody says. But it's also objective confidence, because other people can judge what type of person you are, based on your achievements, what you say and how you act. All of that, alongside some other things like talking slow, taking lead and taking responsibility. You do all of that, you have undeniable confidence. And will also mean that you have a third of charisma cracked down. And then of course comes warmth, which is basically everything with being nice and friendly. And the analogy that I can use to best explain warmth is to fill up your own cup before you try to fill up someone else's cup. Basically, love yourself before you give love to others, which is self-love. And you develop self-love by taking care of your future self. Let me ask you a question. Would you love someone if they have been taking care of you for a week after neglecting you for over 16 years? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't love that person. And the same goes for yourself. If you've been doing things that you know are bad, and you haven't had your best interests in mind, you aren't going to love yourself. Eat clean food, do the hard work when you need to, journal and meditate, socialise, and basically do all of the things that are hard now but will make your life easier in the future. And so that in the future you can think back to the present or past and be so glad for your past self for doing those things for you. Then you would develop your stoicism. And this is important because you need to remain calm and friendly even when things slightly annoy you. You don't want to be the man who always snaps out of nowhere just because things slightly annoy him. So you instead just accept whatever happens. Think if the other person might be having a bad day or something. And it may even be that the other person just needs some warmth from you. And also ask yourself, is this going to be important in an hour, a day, a week, a month or a year? If it isn't, then don't worry about it. Develop your psychology in a way that better helps understand human behaviours and needs, so you can understand what needs are necessary when it's going on in the moment. A woman is going to need different types of support when she's having a bad day in comparison to a man. A man is going to need different types of support when going through hard times compared to a boy. And there's many more variations and examples. You understand where I'm going with this. Be direct and honest with compliments. Who would honestly not love a sincere, honest compliment? Everybody would love it, but not many people give it. And if you become known as the person who always gives off a lot of warmth and always compliments others, people are going to be addicted to your presence because you make them feel so good and accepted. But of course only give compliments that you actually believe. Otherwise people will see right through you and see that you're being dishonest. And so all of that, alongside some small things like smiling and having relaxed body language. And after warmth, you would have 2/3 of charisma cracked down. And lastly of course is presence, which is basically just active listening. And I would say the way to approach it is like this. Listen to someone like you're listening to your favourite song. As when you're listening to your favourite song, you're not waiting for it to stop so you can listen to the next song or do something else. You are listening to it to enjoy it in this very moment. And so of course listen to others in the same way. And the worst thing that you can do is wait for the other person to finish talking just so you can speak. Absolutely do not think about what you're going to say as the other person is speaking. And another big thing is to assume that the other person knows something that you don't, which will make you listen very attentively to whatever information that other person has. Because think about it, are you going to listen to what someone else has to say when you know their brain is full of shit and they have nothing good to tell you? Probably not. But are you going to listen to what someone has to say when you know they have lived a long and interesting life and have a lot of good things to tell you? You would then of course listen. And even if the person that you're listening to is a bit dumb, assume that they have something somewhere deep inside them that they can tell you that will positively impact your life. And because you know it's in there somewhere, you will listen and you will ask questions to find it. And so in the end, by trying to get lessons or information from someone, you become a very present and fantastic listener. And so you take those points alongside some smaller things like don't be on your phone, nod, make eye contact, and don't keep looking around. And so with that, you will have all the information that you need to become charismatic. I initially read about charisma in an article that I will link below. And in there is some additional information that you can look at and may help you. And so with that wraps up everything that you need to know about becoming charismatic. And so it means that you can go on out there, make new friends, rizz up women, or use it to influence decisions to make big things happen. I really struggled with speaking growing up. I really struggled with speaking